7. This video will cover 7.1 and 7.2. Open the 7 subscription word processing document. Okay, I've already done that. Now it says change the properties of the ID text form field to ensure that a user can only enter 13 digits. So here by ID, we can double click on it, or if you'd rather prefer to go to developer, make sure you've selected the correct field and you say properties opens the same thing. So over here, maximum length, we're going to say 13 and OK. Now it's saying add Netflix as an option to the list for the option drop down form field. So here, double click. There we're going to say Netflix and add. So there we go. So OK. And now the last part of 7.1 is to insert the table from the 7 details word processing document at the bottom of the document and ensure that it is linked to the original document. So they want me to insert this table over here, and they want to make sure that the table I insert is linked to the document that it came from. So first of all, let's go look for this table, 7 details. Alright, so this is the whole table. As you can see, it's quite a big table here. So I've selected the whole table. I'm going to right click and say copy. Now I can minimize this, and now instead of right clicking and pasting, if I do that, you can see the table's inserted, but how do we know if it's a link? So if I push Control and F9, you'll see nothing happens to the table. Over here you can see all these things are showing me what they're linked to. Control and F9 again returns it to normal. So let's just undo what I did with this table. Now instead of pasting it like that, we're going to go to the home, paste special, and say paste link. Click on OK. The table looks the same, but now when I click on Alt and F9, you can see it's linked to the Word document 12 users, the main desktop. This is where I have it and the prelims, and then it tells me exactly 7 details what it's linking. Alright, Alt and F9 returns that back to normal, and I can save and close. Alright, the 7.2 says I need to open up the 7 DSTV options spreadsheet, so there we go. Alright, and remember to enable editing if it asks you to. Work in the subscribers worksheet. Insert a formula in cell E4 to generate a random number for a lucky draw. So we're going to go to E4 and we need to generate this lucky number for a draw. It says that the range of the random number should range between the number of subscribers on the list. Note, the formula should work even if the number on the list changes. So that's the clue. So if we look here, if we were to count this manually, we would know what our maximum number needs to be. Our minimum number, we know we're going to start on 1. But now the maximum, that's the number that we need the computer to count the names for. Now we can do a building block, so we get the computer to count it for us here. So as this grows and we add more names, so the formula will keep counting how many names there are, and then it's going to use that in our rand between function. So first of all, let's first count. So we're going to say equals. Now I'm going to count the names. So the function I need to use is count A, open brackets, and I need to select the range with the names. Make sure you don't select the heading, because if you do, it's going to count that as well. Alright, so I'm going to then click on the bracket and close, and there it tells me that there's 50. So inside this cell I'm going to say equals rand between, and then the bottom number we're going to start on 1, and then the top number I'm going to click here on G4 and then push F4 to make sure that when I copy this down, it's always going to select this cell as my maximum number. there and enter. So there gives me 35. And as I copy it down, you can see this last cell here ran between 1 and G4. So it's still using the 50 as the maximum. Alright, so that was 4 marks and that was using a building block. So what I'm going to do now is delete this building block and delete this function here. And I'm going to show you how to do the function now without the building block, starting with equals, rand between, opening a bracket and saying 1. Now within this function, I'm going to add the count a function, open up the bracket, and I'm going to select my range. The only difference now, remember, when we copied it down, we wanted to make sure that the G4 didn't change as we copied. Same thing applies here. I don't want the range to change, so I need to make sure that I click on F4 to make sure that this range is absolute. I close the bracket for the count A, I close the bracket for the rand between, I push enter, and there I can now copy it all the way down, and it works. Alright guys, that was 4 marks. You can save and close the spreadsheet. Well done.